Boyka Fofana of Capital FM. She worked for the Daily Observer newspaper in the 1980s. She was the first Liberian female journalist to cover the Civil War from behind the then rebel lines. She worked in Liberia for the International Research and Exchange Board, IREX, as senior media specialist for 4 years. She currently works for the USAID-funded Liberia Media Development Program. The LMD is currently being implemented by Internews. She has a wealth of experience as a journalist and media development specialist in Liberia and the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, Liberians across the country monitoring via radio, join me as we welcome our lead moderator for today's presidential debate, Madame Maureen Sie of Internews. So we don't have floor to thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to this debate. I think it's a good exercise in our young democracy. I know many of you are excited about this event, but we just have a few ground rules to make sure that this goes on smoothly, to make sure that the Liberian people and people all across the world truly enjoy this exercise. So to the audience, I know there are some party supporters here. I know you're very excited to see your candidates here. But I beg of you, please, we are going to keep all of our applauses and our jeering for the end of the debate. Please, there will be no booing. We ask that you please be respectful of the candidates and their supporters. And we have the police here, and they're going to be monitoring any kind of disruption. So I beg of you, please conduct yourselves accordingly. And I would just like to welcome the candidates who showed up here today. I like people who show up when asked. I think your presence here today is an indication of your commitment to this process. I just want to remind you of a few ground rules. We were supposed to do a little lottery to determine who goes first, but that didn't happen. But we're going to call you based on the order in which you are seated from my left, okay? So each of you will get 4 minutes to make brief introductory remarks. And then after that, we will go into the question and answer. So the last person who would do the introductory remarks will not get the first question. We'll go back to the second person. Okay, you got that? Okay, thank you. The questions that we'll be asking you today were drawn from 6 thematic areas, which we informed you about this in our communication. So one, we have questions on the economy. We'll have questions on the security and the rule of law sector. We'll have questions on peace and reconciliation. We'll have questions on agriculture. We'll have questions on youth empowerment and development. And we'll have questions on anti-corruption. So your introduction is going to be 4 minutes. You have 3 minutes to answer the question, and you'll have 1 minute for the follow-up. And at the end, you will have 3 minutes to make closing remarks. Thank you. So we'll first ask Mr. Ure to introduce himself, make his brief opening remark. Please go to the podium there. And okay, please pay attention to the timekeeping machine over there, and we'll alert you when your time is up. So just watch the board as you speak. Thank you.
The moderator, Liberians and foreign guests present here, my colleagues, we bring you greetings from the All Liberian Party. Today is a good day for Liberia, that we all can be in this hall attending what I consider a national debate. As we all know, from 1980 to today's date, we all have witnessed our country, Liberia, degenerating to its present status. Yes, along the way, we have had some very positive things happening in Liberia. We have seen some growth, but on the overall, Liberia has deteriorated. Economically, socially, and internationally. We come to you today begging your indulgence as we tell you our views on how we can move our country forward. As you have probably seen all over Monrovia and the country, we are endeavoring to get Liberia working again. The question is, how can we as a people get Liberia working again? We have to get the economics of our country, the wheel spinning again. We have to get our people reconciled again. We have to get our people involved in governance. We have to take governance from Monrovia by a selective few and take it back to the people. We need to take the resources of our country from being under a few people, decisions being made by a few people, and take it to the people. We believe the involvement of the entire Liberia and not a selective few will carry us a long way in developing our country. We also want to let you know that our country depends on each and every Liberian, irrespective of who you are, what religious background you come from, what tribe you come from. What must unite us as a people is that we are Liberians, and we must start thinking forward. We must leave our dark past behind us, and we must move our country forward. Our country must grow. We as a people must grow. We must change our attitudes. We must change our ways, because if we don't, we will remain where we are. Liberia is depending on each and every one of us, and we must not continue to let the people of Liberia down, nor must we let ourselves down. Liberia must come before each and every one of us, and we must remember the people outside of Monrovia. Liberia is not Monrovia. Liberia is out there. And we must continue the process of negotiation, the process of speaking to one another, the process of engaging one another to ensure that we are all united and ready to move Liberia forward. I thank you.
Okay, now, first sector that, Oh, sorry. We'll have the next, continue with our introduction, sorry.
Thank you very much. We want to thank all of the organizers of this debate. I come to this debate this morning against many suggestions from people and partisans and key supporters who asked me not to appear. But I'm here for several reasons, among which are my respect for anything that is important to the Liberians in and out of government. It shows their love and concern for their country. Liberians are aware of the challenges they face in and outside their country and are now demanding that our country give them the opportunity to actively participate and contribute to the rebuilding of our country. That a responsible government in place, one requisite leadership that is capable, tested administratively, and one with knowledge and experience and integrity to manage our resources and be accountable to them. Let me emphasize here that we are an African country with a huge percentage of our people in the rural communities, illiterate society, unemployed youth needing quality education, technical skills for employment. I graduated from the university, and the first assignment I took was outside the country, something that was not normal in those days. For believe that once you receive Monrovia, they forget about you. This gave me the opportunity to understand the life the people live outside Monrovia, what the people think about their lives and their development. And I said to myself these few days that it is about time that we think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. We have done a lot. Our youth, our women, sit in the market in squalor. We see that. When I go up country, I look at different things. I look at the lives of the people, the quality of life they're living. It is not talking, it's about action. And this is the experience that I have. So Liberians, today, we thank you for giving us this opportunity because we should go beyond rhetoric and give to our Liberians what they deserve. Thank you very much.
Please control the clapping. You have a lot of time for that. Thank you, Vice President Boyka. Mr. Cummings, can you move to the podium for your 4-minute introduction?
Thank you, and good afternoon. To the organizers of the program, the Deepening Democracy Coalition, to the moderators, to my fellow aspirants for leadership of our country, it's my honor to be here with you this afternoon. You know, about 3 weeks ago, Liberia celebrated 170 years of independence, the oldest republic in Africa. Yet, we are amongst the least developed countries on our continent, and indeed among the least developed countries in the world. My fellow Liberians, we have to ask ourselves some very hard questions. Why do almost 60% of our people live below the poverty line? Why is our per capita income of $297 the third lowest in the world. And I could go on and on. There are two fundamental truths that we have to think about as Liberians. One, if you keep doing the same things, you will not get different results. If you keep doing the same things, you will not get different results. The other fundamental truth is that the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And as Liberians go to the poll on October 10th, I ask you to keep those two truths in mind and answer some of these hard questions about why we are where we are after 170 years. I have been very blessed in life, blessed to be a Liberian, blessed to have gone to demonstration school, CABA, Cuttington, worked at LBDI, but also blessed to have managed large, complex organizations, managed financials much bigger than our countries, and consistently delivered results, consistently was held accountable, created jobs for people across the world. And I ask you, as we look forward, as we have this debate, let's look at who will answer the fundamental questions, who will go below the surface, who will understand the economics of our country, who will focus on the how we can change our country. And that involves bringing all Liberians together. We call it Hearts and Minds. That involves finding the money. It will require funds, money to do the things we need to do. It will require a government of inclusion. It will require growing the private sector and leveraging technology. So my fellow Liberians, this is what we offer you. This is what we want you to think about. We have to do some things differently if we want a different country. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Mr. Bromskin, please head to the podium, please.
Thank you so much to the Deepening Democratic Coalition, the moderators, the people of Painesville for allowing us the use of this hall. Thanks to Ben, to Joe, to Alex, they're all my friends, for joining me today in presenting our views to our people. Each and every one of us have something to say about what we will do for this country. But I'd like to share my vision with you during the next hour or so, through the eyes and the condition of an old lady who I met in a village in Nimba. Her husband predeceased her. She had no children. But for the mercy of her neighbors, she would go to bed hungry every night. That lady's condition must be changed if we are to be a country and a nation that cares for our people. And then I speak of the lady whose husband told me her story about her dying in childbirth because they had to walk several hours to the nearest clinic to get medical care. That too must change. I tell you the stories of the young men on the street who are called Zogos, who we must take and bring into society. No Liberian will be abandoned under a Bromskin-Conway administration. I talk of young people in Liberia who graduate from high schools, some of them with honors, yet and still, they fail LU's entrance exam. There's something fundamentally wrong with the education system of this country that we intend to change. I talk about the businesswoman who took a loan from the commercial bank at the interest rate of 20%, went to China, brought goods to sell at a profit margin less than 7%. She could not pay the loan. We must help that woman. We must help Liberian businesses for them to move forward. It is time to change this country. I will talk about reconciling this country, bringing our people together, not tearing them apart. I will talk about those values that made Liberia strong, that once made us a good people. Family values, values of being our brothers' keepers, our sister keepers. It's time that once again, Liberians can care for each other. I talk about the infrastructure that need to be rebuilt because of my experience traveling to the Southeast the other day. Many will say some similar things, but really realize it can only happen if it is grounded on the integrity of the vision bearer. And the integrity that I speak of is not simply the absence of corruption, but the integrity to say, yes, I am qualified to run to be president of Liberia. I meet the constitutional requirement. I have the relevant experience in government. I've been in there. I came out clean with my reputation intact. That's what I bring to the Liberian people. I thank you.
Thank you to our aspirants for your introductory remarks. We are now to our questions. Sector will be the economy. And because of the order in which we have organized these debates, Vice President Boyka will be the first to answer the question, since Mr. Ure was the first for the introductory remarks. Yes, you have to go to the podium. So the question is, many Liberians live below the poverty line. What specific measures are you going to put in place to address this issue? And how will you fund a poverty reduction program? You have 3 minutes to answer the question.
You know, when people ask me, what are your priorities for this country? I say to them, number 1, roads, number 2, roads, number 3, roads. There's no way we're going to expand the economy of this country when it's lacking. Lofa County is supposed to be the breadbasket of this country. How do you get the food here? You go to Lofa, you can buy bananas almost for little or nothing. How do they get here? Unless we open up this country, we can go to the southeast on a good road. We can go to the northwest on a good road, the central part of this country. We're not going to expand the economy of this country. When a job that is supposed to be done in 2 days take you a week, you cannot build an economy. You cannot support an economy and build a society. All of the developing countries, they're not developed because they have ships and airplanes. It's because of accessibility. You got to get there. We have to open the country up. The young people will get jobs. Tourism will be an attraction here. We can't do that sitting in Monrovia and driving. Take a typical example where we to have an invading army coming from Banga. Where do you go? In the sea? Because you have nowhere to go. The opportunities are here. We don't have to look elsewhere. We cannot be a country all the time we thanking and begging our partners. The resources are here. We must invest in them, improving them, give our people a job, give them opportunity to have clean drinking water and quality education. My priority number 1 is road. We open up this country, we open up opportunities. The resources are there, we can get them. We need accountability, we need honesty. We don't just mean people talking about it, live it. In all my working life, I have lived a transparent life. We managed operations that provided job here, and we gave job to the people because of our integrity. You can say what you may, LPMC was a success. When I managed LPMC, it provided job for people. It provided opportunities for people. Open up the country and open up the economy of this country. You will see jobs created. Thank you.
Okay, some will argue that, cynics will say you've been the vice president for almost 12 years. You could have had, you had the opportunity to do exactly what you're talking about. And
Thank you
what
very
would be your
much.
response? Yeah.
The vice president, and I am telling you that you put a race car in the garage and you say you want for that car to be proven. Put the race car on the track. A vice president is a vice president. You know very well what a vice president is.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Vice President. I beg y'all, 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 I beg y'all. I want y'all foot. Please, please, please. Please, 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 please. I beg, I beg. Please, please. Mr. Cummings, would you head to the podium? And the question is, many Liberians live below the poverty line. What specific measures are you going to put in place to address this issue? And how